New Smyrna Speedway is the first stop for the K&N Pro Series East, and how important is short track racing in Central Florida in the month of February? It's very important. That's where all of these young drivers will be able to start off their careers, some of them for the first time in stock car racing, like Rico Abreu. It's the Heart to Heart Breast Cancer Foundation 150, which kicks off the 2015 racing season. I'm Rick Allen alongside Jeff Burton. Dave Burns is going to be covering all the stories on track as well as on pit road this evening. And a gorgeous evening it is. Mid-50s the temperature, perfect for racing on the short track. And Jeff, I want to take a look at some of the particulars of the K&N Pro Series. It's really a proving ground for NASCAR's young drivers to make this step up.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great opportunity for these guys to run on short tracks, 1 mile, road courses, all kinds of different racetracks. But one thing really cool about tonight is the new body we're going to see. How's that going to work out comparing it to the old body?
And we'll continue to watch that progression throughout the entire 2015 season. Where exactly is New Smyrna Speedway? Just 13 miles south of probably the most famous speedway of all time. That's the Daytona International Speedway. Before the drivers climb into their cars, a ceremonial picture. The new faces trying to join likes of Ricky Craven, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott all have graduated from the K&N Pro Series and moved on to great things. For more on this series, let's go to Dave Burns.
So who will be the next in the K&N Pro Series to stand out? Well, it's really hard to tell because there are so many choices. Take, for instance, J.J. Haley in the 5-car from Indiana, a high school sophomore. What about Dalton Sargent in the 51 car? He's raced in Europe as well as the United States already at age 17. And then there's Kyle Benjamin in the 27 car. He's already got a driver development deal with Roush Fenway Racing, and he won at New Smyrna here back in 2013. But something else to think about for 2015 is the new composite body that NASCAR has instituted for the K&N Pro Series. It'll be mandatory for all teams come 2017. The idea was to get a race car that was a whole lot closer to the street version, and they've done it with a super lightweight, super strong composite body that has flange fittings on the inside where the body comes together to give it a great finished look on the outside. It saves the teams money. It costs about half as much as the last body did, and the savings in labor is huge. The teams tell me that they're counting that in days.
And Dave, a great point. I want to break it down even further, Jeff. Explain the differences in these bodies.
Well, these bodies were designed to save the teams money, but also for the cars to be very competitive. So the bodies are lighter, and then on top of that, NASCAR gives the teams a weight break for running this body because they want to entice the teams to run it. So it's a lighter car, should be an advantage, especially on a short track, and it helps save the teams some money and create parity amongst the teams.
Austin Hill is on the pole for tonight's race, his first pole in the K&N Pro Series. And Austin, I know it's been a big week for you. You got to run over the big track at Daytona International Speedway, and now this. What's your assessment of it?
It's been awesome, to come out here and sit on the pole. We won 2 races last year, the last 2, and come out here, sit on the pole. I think we have a really good shot at it. My guys, they've been working their butts off in the shop to get this thing ready, and I really think we're ready for this, and I can't thank them enough. We got a new crew chief this year, Ron Otto, and me and him working together has been awesome already, and hopefully we can pick up this win.
And explain to us, there's a lot of heavy hitter teams here, but this is a family operation, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a family operated team. I come in the shop, help these guys any way I can, and they've taught me a lot. And I think being in the shop and being around these guys, our bond together has been amazing this year, and I really think that our bond is a lot better, and that's what's put us in this position tonight, being on the pole. And to be able to go out here and run with these guys, Turner Scott Motorsports and everything like that, and us being a family-operated organization, getting the pole and hopefully getting the win tonight is going to be a lot.
Austin Hill on the pole in the 22.
Again, coming off the wins at Greenville, Pickens, and Dover from a year ago. A very impressive ending to 2014. Would like to start off 2015 in the same fashion. And welcome back to New Smyrna Speedway as we get ready to kick off the 2015 stock car season with K&N Pro Series East. I want to take a look at the particulars of this race, the Heart to Heart Cancer Foundation 150. This half-mile racetrack has degrees of banking from 18 to 20 degrees, making it very quick. And we expect door-to-door, high-speed racing. 150 laps, 72 miles. Drivers, who to watch? Let's go to Dave Burns on pit road.
Well, you might want to keep an eye on Dalton Sargent. He's 17 years old, and he comes from Boca Raton, Florida. When he was 8 years old, his dad gave him a go-kart as a gift, never expecting him to race it. But that didn't last long. The family spent a couple of years in Europe even racing cars, developing Dalton's talents. He also raced in Formula Renault and open wheel ranks. And when he came back to the United States, it was time to go late model racing. Last year, he raced in the prestigious Snowball Derby against the likes of Eric Jones, the two-time winner, Chase Elliott, the Xfinity Series champion, and eventual winner, John Hunter Nemechek. He caught a lot of attention that day, and he'll be one to watch tonight.
You know, he's a very smooth driver. He's aggressive and he goes after things, but he does it in a smooth way. So I think he will have some success tonight.
We'll see how he does on the short track. Austin Hill, Kaz Gralla are going to be making up row number 1. They will bring the field to the green flag tonight. Greg Gaulding, a veteran at only 17 years old, starting in the top 5.
And there we see the Bassett brothers starting 12th and 13th. Never like starting near my brother on a short track. Things are liable to happen.
As we look at 21 through 26, Jay Beasley, Kinsey Rustin, the female in the field, will start in the 22nd position. And Anthony Kumpen will start 23rd. That is your Euro champ from 2014. So the field is side by side, 2 by 2, all the way back 13 rows as the green flag is about to fly on the 2015 season. We're underway from New Smyrna Speedway.
Well, you can see somebody miss a shift at the very back of the pack. It's got them 3 wide already going into turn 1.
And it's going to be a little bit hectic. What's the preferred line around this racetrack? Do you want to be right down on that yellow line?
Well, I think all night long we're going to see a battle for the top, especially on restarts in the start of the race, because this racetrack has multiple grooves. Most short tracks don't. This racetrack you can run all over the place, and I think we'll see that battle all night for that top groove.
Right now, William Byron on the bottom of the racetrack in the number 9, trying to take the position away from Scott Heckert in the 34. That's a battle for the 4th spot.
Yeah, keep in mind, too, this is the start of the race, and it's also the start of the season. So these guys need to be smart, but at the same time, track position matters so much on a short track. You've got to fight for every spot you can get.
And already, door to door for the 4th spot. They're chasing after Greg Gaulding in that 20, but they're trying to settle this battle for the 4th position.
You can see Kyle Benjamin there, right behind him. That guy's probably got more wins at this racetrack than anybody racing tonight. He has won a lot in late models here, so I think he views this as kind of his hometown track.
Surprisingly enough, Kyle Benjamin in that 27 has not won in the K&N Pro Series, but already has 2 wins in the ARCA Series, so he's trying to notch his first win here tonight.
Yeah, and Dalton Sargent in that 51, he made a look at the bottom. You can see these guys are still side by side. And again, that's what I love about this racetrack. You're going to see them just fight for it. And here we go. They're going to finally get single file. And I think that's smart. You don't want to eat your tires up this early in the race.
How important is it to conserve your tires in a 150-lap race?
Well, I think it's important, but I think track position is important as well. So the big struggle for these drivers and the team's strategy going into this race is how hard do I want to run? You can run this thing really, really hard right now and maybe get some track position, but is it going to cost you later in the race? You just don't know how the cautions are going to fall. I think it's a real bargain in your own head, how much to get and how much to kind of wait a little bit.
We're seeing the 15 of Nick Drake in the Napa, number 15, trying to close the gap between he and Rico Abreu. Rico Abreu in the 98 had a very successful start to 2015, won the Chili Bowl earlier this year, and now has tried to make the move into the full-bodied stock cars. Still out front of this field, though, that 22 of Austin Hill, picking up where he left off the 2014 season. After 2 wins to end 2014, he is dominating already at New Smyrna Speedway in front of the 3 of Kaz Gralla. Welcome back to New Smyrna Speedway as the 2015 season is underway. Austin Hill has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. Kaz Gralla, who was running second, beginning to drop back now as we've completed 62 laps and on to lap 63. And it seems as though, Jeff, I'm seeing some brake rotors already starting to get red, and that seems a little bit early in this race for that problem.
Well, it's a little early, but again, it's a short track. These guys are running hard. They use a lot of brake on these short tracks. And in today's braking, it's not that big of a deal to see a rotor glowing. Back in the day, that was terrible. But with the technology that is advanced in this sport, it's okay that you're seeing brake rotors glowing.
Ronnie Bassett Jr. has made the move up toward the front into the top 5. There's the 51, driven by Dalton Sargent. Focused on him a little bit earlier in the show. Now he's trying to get by Kaz Gralla.
Yeah, and Kaz is falling back a little bit. He started on the outside pole and, just hadn't quite had the run he wanted to have. But again, who knows how much he's saving. Maybe he's holding back a little bit.
There's your leader, Austin Hill in the 22, beginning to put some cars a lap down.
There's a good shot of that new body style. Looks just like a current Cup car. You know, it has that modern look to it, more like a street car. Really nice looking car.
Austin Hill continuing to put cars down a lap. Now he's going for David Garbo Jr. in the 31. He'll also go a lap down. How aggressive do you run when you're out in front and you've got a little cushion on the second place car?
Well, you know, I think a lot of it's your mentality. I think, you know, being that it's the first race of the year, I think you want to make a statement. And I think you tend to drive harder early in the year, maybe not think it through quite as much. He wants to put as many cars a lap down as he can and show to everybody he competes against that they're going to be the team to beat.
Currently running second is Scott Heckert in the 34, but almost a straightaway between he and our race leader. We continue to see Kaz Grala in that 3 fall back. He's back into the 7th spot now, trying to hang on to that position.
It's really interesting too when you watch the cars, they get off the throttle, you see how much fire comes out of the exhaust pipe. No big deal. These are spec engines. Everybody has the exact same engine, the exact same parts. That's just a little bit of fuel burning out of the exhaust pipes. No big deal.
Now Casgrala trying to go to the inside of the 27 of Kyle Benjamin. Benjamin moves up the racetrack, gives him a look at the inside, but now closes the door on that initial pass.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, I think the 27 of Benjamin, he's not really worried about it. He's like, hey, if you want the bottom, take it. I don't care. If you're going to eat your tires up down there, I'm fine running the top. The only problem with that is the guy on the bottom, if Kaz loses his car in the 3 and gets up into the 27, then obviously that's a problem. But I just don't think you fight for the bottom that much. If somebody wants to have it, let them have it, because the outside's good here.
And right now we're seeing a lot of the drivers staying very close to that yellow line. They're not venturing up high on the track yet.
Yeah, and I think they're just, you know, they're protecting a little bit. You know, maybe they're a little, in my eyes, they're a little bit too worried about a guy getting underneath them. But, you know, these guys know what they're doing. They're young, but these are accomplished race car drivers. They know what they're doing. They know what they want. And you can see right there, Kaz gets a run, a really strong run, going to drive underneath. Let's see what he can get done. You know, he's going to get all beside him. I mean, you can't get any further up on a guy than that. Let's see if he can get off the corner with him.
And he doesn't hit Kyle Benjamin in the 27. He's able to stay off of him. Now they go back into the turn. Casgrala in the 3 on the inside. Kyle Benjamin on the outside in the 27, side by side, fighting for position.
Yeah, you can just see Kyle gets a run on the straightaway, really gets a good launch.
Continuing the battle for the 6th position out of turn number 4. Problems in turn number 1. We've got the 28 of Jared Irvin stop, bringing out our first caution.
Yeah, not sure what happened here, but obviously he stopped on a racetrack. I can't tell if he hit the wall or not.
Looks as though he's locked the tires up. You see the skid marks to where he is currently sitting on the racetrack. Again, that's up in turn number 1. So our first caution comes out. This will be our first attempt for somebody to close the gap on Austin Hill. He has been dominant since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, obviously Jared Irvin's not won this caution, but a lot of other people in the field are. And hopefully Jared's not got a lot of damage. You know, these cars are expensive to repair. You can see the hood bowed up on it, so obviously he's made some contact.
And it looks as though John Holloman IV is going to receive the free pass. We'll go 2 by 2 for the restart when we return. And welcome back to the Heart to Heart Breast Cancer Foundation 150. We're under our first caution, getting ready for the restart. Austin Hill has chose the high line once again. And on his inside will be the 34 of Scott Heckert. Green flag back in the air.
A good start right here. He really got a good launch. Oh, trouble.
Problems right behind him. They catch the 3 of Casgrala. He goes around. That'll bring the caution out again.
Someone must have missed a shift. There's just, you could see him get bottled up. Something had to happen. Spun the tires, missed a shift, and just people couldn't get slowed down.
Yeah, Casgrala in the 3 looked as though he almost ran completely over the car in front of him. But it doesn't look like there's as much damage as you would have expected.
No, it looked like a hard hit, and you know the main thing is, you know, even trying to get the car back out on the racetrack, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this new body, if they can get the panels beat out, or even if they need to get them beat out. But you know, because these are completely different than what they're accustomed to. But really, it looks like it's really tough. It didn't get damaged very much.
Yeah, not bad at all. I saw a little damage to the left rear. Take another look.
Yeah, you can see William. He had a trouble. It didn't look like he looked like he launched well, but maybe going from second to third, he just didn't get it in gear, and they got stacked up behind him.
Ronnie Bassett Jr. was trying to avoid. Then Casgrala got into him. So that brings out our second caution as we tried to get restarted once again. Now 2 by 2 goes the field for another attempt at a restart. Again, Scott Heckert in the 34 on the inside. Austin Hill, he's led every lap. He's on the outside in the 22.
Yeah, you can see he's taking the outside. He took the inside at the start of the race, but once the race got going, he said, you know what, maybe I ought to take the outside. Good restart here again. Been really clean on every start.
And that one is a clean restart as they get into turns 1 and 2. And Austin Hill once again will have the advantage as he goes down the back stretch. Scott Heckert ducks in behind him.
Oh, big move on the bottom right there by Bassett. He made a big move trying to make something happen on the bottom. It's going to be hard to do it, though.
Let's see if he can get by Greg Galding. Galding has that outside line, and as you mentioned, maybe more the preferred line through the turns. Greg Galding keeping the speed up, and he will hold on to that position.
They're 3 wide behind him, so this, starting to get a little bit dicey. We're over halfway. Track position matters more. I think we're going to see more drivers become more aggressive even as this race advances.
Dalton Sargent made the inside line work as he was able to get by Kyle Benjamin. Now Benjamin in the 27 working that high line, see if he can get back by Sargent.
Yeah, and that's the deal right there. Like, it's almost like a super speedway race, even though it's a short track. If you get in the wrong line, can you find your way to the front? Can you find your way in front of a guy? If not, you might get freight trained on the bottom. That's so unusual for a short track. So you can see the 51, he's digging as hard as he can, trying to make everything happen, because if he doesn't make this pass, the 27 behind him, he might fill that hole.
Harder to get grip on the bottom of the racetrack coming out of the turns. It looks like the 51 of Sargent's fighting for that grip.
Well, you can see him, almost you'll beat the guy on the bottom, you'll beat the guy on the outside getting in the corner. But then leaving the corner, you get such a run because that engine just kind of lets go because you're not bogging it down by turning the wheel. It just lets the engine run better. So he finally cleared him right there.
Able to make the pass. Now Ronnie Bassett Jr. is going to try to hold off Kyle Benjamin in the 27. Going up high, you see the 44, driven by Dylan Bassett.
Well, I get nervous when brothers are that close together on these short tracks. Things happen so quick. Yes, things happen so quickly. Your mom gets mad at you. It's not good when you get together with your brother.
And the Bassett brothers out of the Winston-Salem area. Dylan Bassett, 18, and Ronnie Bassett Jr., 19 years old.
It's a family-owned business. This is what's so cool. Again, good hard racing here. Dalton trying to find a way to make that bottom work. See if he can clear him here.
Greg Galding, just 17 years old, already has 30 starts. This is his 31st start in the K&N Pro Series East.
Yeah, and Greg Galding in that 20 car, he is an aggressive race car driver. I think as a young driver, he's trying to find that line between being aggressive enough and not too aggressive, but he has a lot of talent.
How do you do that as a young driver when you see guys like Brad Keselowski in the Cup Series, who is an aggressive driver that maybe you look up to?
Well, you have to, as a driver, you have to decide what your code's going to be, and then you have to live by that. Some guys are very aggressive and some guys aren't. Jimmy Johnson's won a lot of championships by not wrecking a lot of people. Dale Earnhardt won a lot of races by running over a lot of people. So, you got to decide what's good for you and just live by that code.
And so many times we hear drivers say, I'm going to race him the way he races me.
That always worked for me, but that doesn't mean that's the right way to do it necessarily.
And again, the most recent caution that came out was Kaz Grala after the restart. And with more on Kaz Grala, let's go back to pit road and hear from Dave Burns.
Yeah, I just checked with Mike Fritz, the crew chief for Kaz Grala. He says the car's gotten really tight on him, and so they wanted to take care of the car right now, conserve those tires, because it's a long race on one set of tires.
And a lot of reasons he could have gotten tight. He was in that incident earlier, and it's so hard for a crew chief to know what really is damaged without stopping that car and taking time to really get it up in the air and get a look at it. It's hard to really know. You don't have that much time. This is a short racetrack. If you take the time to try to fix this car, it's not going to work. You're going to be laps down, so you just got to deal with the issues that you have.
One of the things we're seeing with the 3 particularly is that valance is right on the ground, or splitters right on the ground. Is that good for these cars?
Well, yes. You want the car as low as you can get it, but I think this splitter's on the ground because of the wreck he was in. We see it sparking and those kind of things. It wasn't sparking before the wreck.
Yeah, you see a little bit of damage to the left front of that 3 of Kaz Grala. Again, after starting in the second spot at the initial drop of the green flag, he has fallen back was involved in an incident on a restart that sent him even further to the back of the field. We've passed 100 laps of racing on lap 101 of 150, the final 50 laps underway, and it has been all Austin Hill since the drop of the green flag.
Everybody's getting tired of watching Austin Hill lead this race, I can guarantee you. So,
except Austin Hill.
Except for Austin Hill and his fans and his family, for sure. But, you know, it's time to go now. We're going to find out who has the best race car, who's been holding back a little bit. These guys back here, they're racing, you know, they're racing for their lives. The leader's coming, potentially going to put you a lap down. You got to get going. So even though this isn't for the lead, these guys are racing, and they're racing exceptionally hard for every single spot.
Casgrala in the 3, all over the back bumper of that 7 of Cody Rohrbaugh.
And you can see there's Rico behind him. You know, Rico wrecked his primary car in practice. This is a steel body car, probably one of the only steel body cars in the field. So he's greatly disadvantaged from a weight standpoint. Still, these two are battling tough.
Casgrala looks as though he's getting a little bit impatient with the 7 of Rohrbaugh as he continues to ride that bumper. Out front, though, Scott Heckert has closed the gap, looks to the inside of Austin Hill. That's really the first battle we've seen for the lead in this race.
Yeah, I want to see what Scott's got right here. I mean, you can see Austin. He's just running that high line, letting his car kind of go where it wants to go. You're not going to pass him on the outside. You're going to have to find a way. Oh, we got to spin in the back.
We saw Rohrbaugh go around just as he was coming out of turn number 2, so that brings out our 3rd caution.
Wasn't sure if there was any contact there. We saw him start to spin. But we don't know what started before we saw him. It could have been something somebody got into the back of him.
Well, and I had mentioned the 3 of Casgrala was right on his back bumper. Maybe touch that back bumper a little bit.
Well, hey, listen, when you're about to go a lap down, a leader's coming, the pressure starts getting going, and you just start pushing a little bit harder than you need to. So all these guys, even though it's not a race for the lead, these guys are racing as hard as they can.
Coming off our 3rd caution of the race, getting ready for the restart for the Heart to Heart Breast Cancer Foundation 150 from New Smyrna Speedway. Race number 1 of 14 on the 2015 season. Austin Hill on the outside, Scott Heckert on the inside. It's been all Austin Hill. Green flag back in the air, and he has another great restart.
He does. All night long he's been good. Greg Gaulding taking a look. He decided better. Good move. Good smart move.
Kyle Benjamin just behind him. Greg Gaulding in the 20 on the inside. 3rd car on the back on the inside line. It's white there. And right behind him, Kyle Benjamin in the 27. Side by side for 2nd. Scott Heckert on the inside trying to hold off the 51 of Sargent, and it looks as though Dalton Sargent's going to be able to take 2nd away.
Yeah, big, strong, aggressive move. You know, he wants to get to the front here. This is his shot to try to get track position and take the lead.
And he's looking for that lead. He was one of our who to watch drivers at the beginning of the show, and he's definitely contesting with that 22 of Austin Hill for the lead. Austin Hill running a little higher line, and Dalton Sargent looking to the inside, trying to take away the top spot.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's showing Austin that, hey, I want this spot. You know, he's turning in early, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do for your race car, but it's showing Austin, hey, I'm coming. It's got Austin thinking about it. So even though maybe not the perfect line, good emotional move as far as trying to intimidate a little bit.
And maybe force Austin Hill into a mistake. Maybe try to press it a little bit too hard.
Well, that's right. And you can see Austin is committed. You got to give him credit. He said, I'm going to run this top. If you want the bottom, have at it. He's not trying to block him. He's not trying to take the line away. He's running the line, and he thinks is best for his race car.
And just over 35 laps to go in this one. Once again, Dalton Sargent looking to the inside, gets to the rear quarter panel, but can't hold on as they go across the stripe once again.
It's such good racing, and what's amazing is you can see how close they get in the middle of the corner, but Austin Hill uses that momentum. By the time he gets to the next corner, he's 2 car lengths ahead.
Austin Hill with a clean racetrack in front of him, side by side for position here. That 9 on the inside, that's William Byron, taking the spot away from the 04 of Ronnie Bassett Jr.
A little contact getting in the corner, you know, that's one. Whoa, getting in the back of the 20 car right there is J.J. Haley.
Laps continue to wind down, and that means a little more aggressive driving as the brothers go side by side, and the caution comes out, wreck in turns 1 and 2. A few cars involved in this one. We see the 6 spun around. That's Devin Amos. Devin, part of our Drive for Diversity program in NASCAR. He's going to get it turned back around.
Typically don't see this many cars on a short track and, you know, in a wreck. It almost looks like a Talladega style wreck.
And the 23 also involved in that. That's J.P. Morgan. A couple cars are going to make their way onto pit road. A lot of damage to the front end of that race car. Again, that's the 6 of Devin Amos.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. You can see those guys they know they got their work cut out for them. That's going to be hard to get fixed.
Potentially just cut the front end of that thing off, get him back out on track.
I think that's all you can do. I mean, it's a short track. Don't worry about the aero. Just cut it off and get going.
Again, closing in on the final 30 laps of racing here at New Smyrna Speedway. They might just tear off.
One guy's got a saw, and the other guy is very timidly pushing on the car. They have different ideas on how to fix this thing.
And 2x2 once again as we get ready for the restart. Austin Hill has been so impressive on these restarts. He looks to the outside line once again. Scott Heckert has dropped back into the 3rd spot now. Running in that 2nd position on the inside is the 51 of Dalton Sargent. So it's Dalton Sargent's turn to take his shots at Austin Hill. Green flag back in the air.
Great restart again for Austin, and there you see still sitting on pit road when the green flag falls.
And 6 of Devin Amos not able to get off pit road, but Austin Hill dominant once again on the restart.
Yeah, you know, the other big move here is William Byron was not able in the 9 car. He was not able to get to 2nd. You know, even though he was on the outside line, he just couldn't find a way to get to 2nd right there.
Impressive restart for the 51 of Dalton Sargent. He's hanging on to that spot as they go 3 wide now, going down the backstretch. Brothers on the outside.
Yeah, somebody's got to give right here. Mom's going to get mad. There you go.
J.J. Haley in the middle.
Good decision.
We see the 04 of Ronnie Bassett Jr. on the inside, trying to hold off J.J. Haley.
All of a sudden, everybody's hitting each other. You know, it's 25, almost 25 to go, and people are starting to pound on each other. This is a typical short track race. You're going to start seeing more of it.
Short track racing. You mentioned Gray Galding. Could be an aggressive driver. We'll see how aggressive he's going to be. He's running that low line in the 20. Right in front of him, the 44 of Dylan Bassett.
Yeah, Dylan's not really giving him any room either. You can see him kind of cut him off, getting in the corners. You know, just hard racing, trying to protect your spot.
On the inside, that's the 7 of Cody Rohrbaugh. And still out front, the 22 of Austin Hill. Austin Hill has been impressive all night long. Now he's got 3 car lengths between himself and Sargent, running in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, you know, just good hard racing right here again. The question is William faster than Dalton? You know, they're in the 9 car. William Byron. You know, these guys are teammates. Are they going to know how to work with each other? You want that spot, but as a young driver, do you really have experience working with a teammate? Trying to figure out how to work that out is a big part of what this series is about.
You mentioned young drivers, both of them 17 years old. The guy out front, Austin Hill, 21 years old. But still, Austin Hill, one of the NASCAR Next drivers. So NASCAR has targeted Austin Hill as one of the up-and-comers that could be taking the next step as we see J.J. Haley into the wall in the 5.
Not sure what happened there, but they're still wrecking, unfortunately.
Trying to avoid, it looked as though a couple other cars got turned around. So J.J. Haley in the 5 hits the wall. You see the damage to the right front of that car.
You know, where he's sitting, they almost had to start wrecking on the straightaway because, you know, this is the entrance to turn 3. Something had to happen on the straight for this to be sitting where he's sitting.
Colin Cabra in the 2 also turned around. He's a Florida native. He's also a part of our Drive for Diversity program in NASCAR. 3 drivers, Kinsey Ruston and Devin Amos, also a part of that program. Let's take another look at how this happened.
Yeah, here they are on the straight, and you know, to be quite honest with you, it doesn't look to me like the 5 of J.J. Haley had the 04 of Bassett up in the wall, but you know, maybe Bassett thought he was, and like he looked like to me, he got in his right rear quarter panel and just didn't let go of him.
And there you see Casgrala in the 3, as well as Colin Cabra going by.
Not much damage on the car. You know, it's not like it tore, you know, the left front fender off of it or anything, but certainly there was contact.
Yeah, Ronnie Bassett Jr. in the 04 got into the left rear quarter panel, and they're going to black flag Ronnie Bassett Jr. for rough driving. So apparently the officials saw something.
Well, it just looked like to me that you know, that could have been prevented. I don't know what happened in turn 1 before we saw that, but it looked like to me that he certainly could have gotten out of the throttle and prevented that wreck from happening. That's part of what this series is about. You know, they're going to black flag him put him in the back of the pack and say, hey, we're not going to allow that. That's over the line. That's part of learning. That's part of what this series is about. You don't see that in the Cup Series. You know, in the Cup Series, they kind of let you have at it. But in this series, they're going to teach you the right from wrong.
You're going to learn as you go up through the ranks, and that's exactly what a lot of these drivers are doing, is getting some experience. And right now the experience is for the 0-4 of Ronnie Bassett Jr. He'll have to head to pit road to serve the black flag penalty. And welcome back to field 2x2 once again as we're getting ready for the restart. It's been all Austin Hill out in front in the 22. Now to his inside in the 51, Dalton Sargent trying once again. But Austin Hill was such an impressive restart. It happens again on this one.
Yeah, he's been money on every restart. He's had the best car all night, and he's not giving these guys a chance.
Scott Hecker tucks into the third spot in that 34. Then the battle for fourth continues. Greg Galding has it, and sliding back just a bit is William Byron. So Byron now to the inside as the side-by-side battle continues. Involved in the most recent caution, J.J. Haley. He's with Dave Burns.
JJ, what happened?
You know, it was just clean, hard racing, and I don't even know what car it was. Just got into me a little bit going into 3, and it was a racing move. It was a deal. You know, we got a full season ahead of us, and I'm looking forward to it. We saved everything right. We did everything right. We were saving all our tires, and we had something good for the end. We were just starting to make the move, but just one of them deals that you can't control.
All right, sorry you're out.
The youngest driver in the field at 16 and showed quite a bit of maturity there.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, he took the high road. You know, he felt like it was just good, hard, clean racing, and you know that's good as long as he feels that way. And he and you know, the other driver in the incident can have a conversation afterwards and try to prevent that from happening again, and that's perfect.
Here's a great battle continuing for the lead. Austin Hill out in front of Dalton Sargent. Austin Hill part of the NASCAR Next program, as well as Greg Galding and Kinsey Rustin in this field tonight.
And that is such a great program. NASCAR identifies 12 young drivers that they feel really good about. They feel like can help take this sport to the next step at coming into the future. So it's really cool to be one of those 12.
And following in the footsteps of drivers like Chase Elliott, who have graduated out of the NASCAR Next program. Side-by-side battle continues. William Byron on the inside, and that number 9. Outside of him in the 44, Dylan Bassett.
See him spinning those rear tires in that 9 car. He had that thing sideways off the corner, just getting all he can.
Has to catch it because he's got a car on his outside and doesn't want to run up the racetrack to try to catch it and get into that 44.
Yeah, Dylan Bassett on the outside in the 44 car, he's just doing a good job. You know, he's holding his line, letting him have his, go where he wants to go. Good battle for the lead again.
Dalton Sargent tucks in behind that 22 of Austin Hill. He's closed the gap, though, as the laps wind down. How aggressive will he get?
Well, we're getting ready to find out. I mean, it's time to go. So if you've got something, you got to take a shot. You know, but at the end of the day, again, we go back to what a driver's value is going to be, and all drivers are different.
And right now we're seeing William Byron in the 9 continuing to work on the inside of that 44.
Oh, he's just digging so hard trying to make the spot, and trying to get every spot he can because, they're racing for a championship. Every position matters.
Dylan Bassett on the outside in the 44. William Byron in the 9 on the inside, still fighting for position.
And I'm going to say it again, this racetrack is just great. I mean, here's a short track. People running 2 different grooves. Most short tracks are 1 groove. You got to be on the bottom. This track allows these young drivers to get after it.
And that's exactly what William Byron's trying to do, get after it and get by that 44. But with the laps winding down, under 4 to go, will he get aggressive? Maybe put a little sheet metal to the side of this car.
I know Bassett hopes he doesn't, that's for sure.
Oh, the caution comes out. This will build the drama as well. Now we will end up in a green-white checkered situation, so it'll be one last attempt for Dalton Sargent to potentially get by Austin Hill, who's been dominant.
Yeah, and we see Ronnie Bassett right here. He was the driver that was penalized and put to the back of the pack. So probably in an effort to get back to the front, he got into some trouble.
Maybe a little too aggressive, trying to get back to the front. Not a lot of damage to that car. Again, short track racing, you're going to see a few scratches and dents on these cars.
We can't really see what started it, obviously, but lucky there's no more damage than that.
Looks like Sergio Pena in the 1 may have been involved. Let's hear from the crew chief of Dalton Sargent. He's standing by with Dave Burns.
Chris Bowen calls the shots for Dalton Sargent. It's been quite a run after quite a day with a motor replacement, Chris.
Yeah, we got a little behind today. Didn't get him a lot of practice. Rookie driver, first time in an East car, so he's doing a heck of a job. We're a little tight. He's done a really good job conserving tires. We kind of laid back early, and we'll see. He's making it interesting. It's fun to watch.
Absolutely, he's making it interesting. Let's see if he's got anything for Austin Hill on this final restart. Again, there's a restart zone that Austin Hill is the one who dictates the start of this race, or restart of this race. What will Dalton Sargent try?
Well, Austin's been perfect all night. Dalton's just got to try to read the brake, and he didn't get it done. You know, Austin Hill once again got a good blast out of the corner. He's already got a car length lead getting into one.
Here comes Greg Galding to the outside, trying to take third away and maybe even battle for second now. Greg Galding with a great run as they go down the backstretch.
Yeah, and give Dalton a lot of credit. Even though he didn't get a great restart, he did a really good job once he got to one to carry that speed to keep the 20 car from getting around him.
The white flag comes out. Austin Hill, he's been dominant since the drop of the green flag at the beginning of this race, and he continues to dominate with 3 car lengths in front of Dalton Sargent.
I love what Dalton did there. He took a run at him. Oh, we got a caution, got a car on the bottom here.
And that is going to end the race. The 45 spins, that's Christian Salea. And the caution and the checkered flag will fly. Austin Hill remains perfect. He won the last 2 races in 2014, and he leads every lap here tonight at New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, NASCAR did a great job there. You know, you always want to come back to the checkered flag rather than the caution. But with that car sitting in the middle of 3 and 4, you have to throw the caution.
Here you take a look at what happened. Coming through 3 and 4, this is where the accident starts. They pile up back there in turn number 4. Looks as though Rico Abreu and Anthony Kumpen involved in this.
Boy, that's terrible for these drivers to end the race. You know, coming to the white flag to get into a wreck, that cost them so many spots. That's the worst time to get into a wreck.
Austin Hill has to be making NASCAR happy about the NASCAR Next program. Here's a driver who's graduated from Bandoleros and Legends at Atlanta Motor Speedway, gets his 4th career win in the Heart to Heart Breast Cancer Foundation 150. Fast cars, exactly what Austin Hill had, not only winning the pole, but also winning the race. He comes off of wins in 2014 at Greenville Pickens, as well as the season-ending race at Dover. And now back to Victory Lane, this time at New Smyrna Speedway. And let's go to Victory Lane. Dave Burns is down there.
Yeah, a little confetti is okay after all that, don't you think, Austin?
Yeah, man.
Wire to wire, how did you do that?
I have no idea. I can't thank these guys enough. Ron Otto, he's an awesome crew chief. This is mine and his first race together. And to be able to come out here and win the opener, sit on the pole, and lead every lap of the race really shows something about this team. And we're definitely going for that championship this year. So this is an awesome way to start off the year, being first race and being able to win it. I just can't thank these guys enough. They're the reason we got here in Victory Lane today. I was kind of getting a little nervous there at the end when we had a green-white checkered. I came over the radio midway through the race, and I was like, my car is terrible for the first 5 laps. I don't know why. I just can't get up and go. But after about 5 laps, it'll go. And I don't know what it was. It was like a light switch. Just the last 2 laps, they were good starts. I could pull away 4 or 5 car lengths. Once I got a decent lead, I'd just ride and try to save my tires. But I can't thank these guys enough. They did a heck of a job today.
And this is 3 in a row for you in the K&N Series. Have you ever had a run like this?
Oh, no. This is really special, and I hope we keep winning races down the road. Next race is Greenville, so hopefully we can go get that win. We won it last year, the next to last race, so hopefully we can go there with the same package as last year and get that W there too.
Austin Hill takes the first win of the year in the K&N Pro Series.
And he does it in impressive fashion, leading every one of the 151 laps. Take a look at the final results. Austin Hill, Dalton Sargent, 1 and 2. Greg Galding with a 3rd place finish.
You know, Austin Hill's win really was special. You know, they just moved into a new shop. I went over to see them a couple weeks ago. They don't even have heat in their shop yet. I mean, it's February, you know, and they don't have heat.
They are absolutely heating things up right now, especially on the racetrack. Guy who made up 7 spots on the track, finishing 2nd in this one, standing by with Dave.
Well, quite a day for Dalton Sargent. It started with an engine change, and then it got better after that. Talk about finishing second tonight.
Yeah, actually, when we had to make the engine change, it kind of hurt us a little bit. We only got about 10 laps in practice. We went out for qualifying, had a good run, top 10, so that's definitely good. Always a good thing. And then, as the race went on, we struggled a little bit in the beginning, but other drivers started to use up their stuff a little bit too much. They started to come back to us, and we were able to pick them off one by one. We knew that we were going to be good in the long runs, and that was going to be our benefit. And we got a few on the restarts, which was really good. But, that final restart kind of hurt us just a little bit. We got pinched down a little bit and just spun the tires, and, that's what kind of set us back a little bit.
Dalton Sargent second tonight.
Dalton Sargent, 17 years old. Second in the point standings after one race, just 6 points back. Gray Galding finishing third in this one, 7 points behind Austin Hill. Let's hear from Gray. He is with Dave Burns.
So there was a time tonight when I didn't think I'd be talking to Gray Galding on the podium here. How did you come back from where you were?
First off, we had a real eventful night, having to start. We started off pretty good, and it just seems like later in the race we faded. I started to get real loose, getting into the corners and through the middle, and then I started to get tight. But I cut all my fans off, and I just said it's go time. With about 16 to go, my spotter Jason White told me, all right, 16 to go, let's make something happen. I just never gave up, man. I knew we had a top 6 car, but I didn't think top 3, so that's why I just never gave up and made it happen. I really wanted to win tonight, though, for my grandfather. He's back home. Love you, Pop, and hopefully we can make it happen in Greenville.
Gray Galding adjusted the car and maybe adjusted his attitude near the end, finishing third tonight.
Smiles and a good attitude for Gray Galding as he will be shooting for a championship in 2015. NBCSN is your exclusive home for the K&N Pro Series, and that means we will be covering all from east to west. And the K&N Pro Series West opener is going to be the Kern 150 at Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, California. That will be Friday, April 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. The crowd starting to roll out of the racetrack area. It started with all smiles, and I believe every fan in the stands had to leave all smiles because a great race we saw in this half mile.
Yeah, it was a really good race, a lot of action. Love short track racing. It's the heartbeat of what NASCAR is all about. A really good start to this K&N season.
We saw aggressive driving, and we saw impressive driving, especially by that driver, the number 22 of Austin Hill, continuing his win streak. He wins to start off 2015.